Now let's go ahead and talk about the DBQ itself. If you look at, let's talk about first of all, write this down in a little subset somewhere. No-nos with DBQs. Number one, there is no wrong answer, all right? It's all about using evidence to justify your idea. Now, in this, your thesis statement is pretty much already drawn out for you, right? If you look at the question, it says, to what extent were the contrasting views of Hobbes and Locke concerning absolutism reflecting the actions of Cromwell and the Cavaliers? So, basically all you got to do is you're making a 4-paragraph essay, and your thesis statement is trying to show how Locke supports the Roundheads and Cromwell, and Hobbes supports the Cavaliers. That's all you're trying to do. That's why you only need 4 paragraphs. You need your introduction, right, with your thesis statement saying, the following essay discusses how Hobbes supported the actions of the Cavaliers and Locke supported the Cromwell and his Roundheads. And then you use the first body paragraph. You can do Locke or Hobbes first. It doesn't really matter. I personally would do Hobbes first just because he's a little more extreme and easier to talk about. And then you do Locke second, and then you wrap it all up, right? So now, last couple things. No-nos on DBQs is there is no wrong answer, all right? So if you think a document favors one side or the other, it favors one side or the other, and just use it to justify yourself. 2, not reading the documents, all right? Like, that is a huge no-no. So read through all these, and what you need to do, this is why this one's so simple, just assign every single document with an H or an L. Hobbes, Locke, Hobbes, Locke. Who would agree with it, all right? So anyway, then what you're going to do is another big no-no, worrying about length. Do not worry about length, okay? I know Mr. D'Antonio and I had a conversation about how he was like, that was my fault. They all think they have to be 5 paragraphs. If it only is going to give you 2 viewpoints, it only has to be 4. Okay. Now, typically on an AP European exam, they will give you a question that usually involves about 5 paragraphs, but we'll get to that later. Please don't freak out. All right. So anyway, this one only needs 4. It'll be okay. So anyway, the only thing that's going to be due on Monday, really, I just want a rough draft. We're actually going to take time to read each other's work and use scoring guidelines to try and score each other's work and make it better, and the final product won't be due until Thursday. So your first draft is due Monday. It can be handwritten, it can be typed, it can be kind of sloppy, it can have some grammar mistakes, it can be like a little confused, and you can come and be like, I really didn't know about this one document. I left it blank, so I didn't really put it in there. That's another big no-no for DBQs. Stretching documents, all right? Like, you should try your best to use all of the documents. That's why there's only 9 and one of them's a picture. But if you find one and you really don't understand it, don't include it. Because usually AP scorers, if they see you in a desperate last-ditch attempt to try and include it, they're just going to get a little bit perturbed and probably just scoff it off. Now, so we said worrying about length. We said not reading the documents. And we said stretching the documents, right? So what I want you to do is go ahead and go through all your documents, assign Hobbes or Locke to it, right? And then bring in some of your outside information from class and make a 4-paragraph essay rough draft, intro, Hobbes, Locke, or Locke, Hobbes, up to you, conclusion, bang. That's all. All right, so all you got to do is talk about how Hobbes supported the Cavaliers and Locke supported the Roundheads, and the documents will support those theories. So one big thing, though, that AP scorers love, and this is what I'll leave you on, is bringing in outside information, okay? Now, some of y'all are wondering to yourself, well, okay, I understand what the first document's for. What are those other 2 packets for? These right here, this is DBQs from the AP European exam. These are just 2 that literally, this right here is the first one, and this has documents reflecting human rights during the French Revolution. That's what one will look like, okay? There has no answer. It doesn't have any writing sample that goes along with it. But then this second document is literally mapping out how to write that example, okay? I'm just trying to, this is just like helping materials, right? You don't have to do anything with these if you don't want to. It's really, really up to you. The only thing I'm concerned about you showing up with on Monday is your rough drafted essay of this. All right? So if you have any questions, please email me. Don't be frantic. It's okay. You know, like, I mean, we got all weekend. This thing, it's, like I said, it's right now it's 7:52. Like, we got time. Most of y'all aren't even awake yet, okay? So ease into it. Like I said, you can write it by hand. It really, really doesn't matter. It's okay. Like, I want you to get good at this, so we're going to take our time, all right? And as long as you meet the benchmarks that I assign throughout the rest of this week, you'll receive 100 on this assignment. So it'll really be all right. Don't worry too much. Use the other two packets as kind of just a helping tool, right? You can read through them. You can use them. You don't have to use them. It's really up to you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over them on Monday. We're going to assign them to each other, peer review a little bit, and we'll be good to go. All right? So I'll see y'all then, Camden Catholic. Enjoy your weekend. Remember, Hobbes, Locke, Roundheads, or wait, crap, Cavaliers, Roundheads, 4-paragraph essay. That's all. Who supports who? All right? I'll see y'all then.